What's up, guys? Today I have one simple drill for you that will help improve your slipping so much. I get this question all the time on the YouTube channel, through the comments. How do I get better at slipping? It was something I struggled with for years. I would drill and drill and drill with a partner, but it just wouldn't click in sparring. So we're going to talk about something that I've utilized today. Now, guys, this is an impromptu episode. I've been so busy the last couple of weeks, so I haven't been able to film as much. I love sharing with you guys. I love getting on, talking, just giving you information. So, bear with me if there's a few little mistakes through it, because I'm just putting this together. So we are talking about slipping. Now, when you end up slipping, when you pull it off, it feels so good. But I find, especially as a kickboxer, the reality is we're used to having our hands really high. We're used to being right here. And when you're in that position, you're planning on, taking shots off the forearm, your body's very rigid. When you're rigid, when your arms are fairly rigid, you're ready to absorb impact, you're not gonna be as quick on movement. And when you're like this, and then you see a punch coming, you have the choice of this, or you have to think, okay, relax, bend my knees and slip. It's very unlikely that you're gonna be able to pull that off. So let's run through the drill that I have utilized time and time again that helped me get so much better at executing slipping. And the main thing that I learned over the years was slipping is not something that is really easy to do. If you see somebody throw jab, cross, hook, and you're going, okay, slip, 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 that's very difficult if you only move your head when somebody throws. But if you're always in motion, you always finish your punches with movement, most of the time, you just end up slipping punches just because you're moving. It's not planned evasion. It just happens because you're being, let's call it, what would the word be? I'm drawing a blank here. You're basically preempting the slip. So it's worked so well for me. And basically, this is the drill that I use. Instead of shadow boxing, let's say this is my normal shadow. I'm just working away. You see how my head is not moving? For the most part, occasionally I'll give a little bit of a slip, but for the most part, I'm working blocking and my head's always in position to get tagged. So what I end up doing for my alternative drilling to work on my slipping is anytime I am not punching, my head is moving. Every time. Never let your head stay right here unless you're throwing your punches. When I punch, it's generally a good idea to have my head here. Sure, I can get my head off to the side occasionally, but I don't want to be hanging out here trying to punch. So let's say I start off nice and light. And I always throw my shots, even if it's one, and I go back to moving. And you'll be so surprised when you constantly keep your head in motion, how tricky it is for people to hit you. So you can see here, I work away, and I'm not going too fast right now, but it's just getting used to throwing shots and then getting right back into movement. When I drill like this, and then I go and spar, as I already said, time and time and time again, punches just miss me. I don't even need to be like, oh, a hook's coming, and I happen to slip it. It's just throw the shot, and the hook happened to go over my head. And then I go back to tagging, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm gonna move, I'm gonna move, I'm gonna move. And the shots are just flying by. So what are some details we need to make sure we're really on top of, so we're doing this drill correctly, not making mistakes that are gonna lead to bad habits? Well, number one, you need to figure out what sport you're doing. If you're MMA, kickboxing, Muay Thai, you need to be very aware that your head is not going to be going way down there where a kick or a knee might hit you. You're going to minimize your motion. If you're boxing, you can get away with big rolls, big drops. So figure out right away what sport you're doing and make the adjustments, make the appropriate slip for that fight sport. Now, from here, if we're talking about MMA, kickboxing, or Muay Thai, we need to be ultra aware that when we're throwing our shots and then we go into slipping, we're not slipping with our hands down. We've already minimized our motion. We're not going really deep on our slips, but we need to make sure we're not going way down to the side with our hands low, because now we still might run into a kick. So we're protecting, I throw, and I keep my hands not way up here, but close to my head. So if I have to midway through make an adjustment, then that's gonna happen for me because I'm keeping my hands in the right position. Now, another thing that I've noticed when I do this type of drilling and then I try to execute it in sparring, throwing away, doing all that work, right? One of the big things that I've noted time and time again is the hands need to be able to make the adjustments at any point, because it's very easy for me to go drop and then see a shot coming that I happen to run into. And that's the big danger with slipping when you're not really picking up on an exact shot. If I go, okay, you throw the cross at me and I move, I know that I'm safe. But if I just happen to move my head and I go this direction as somebody's throwing a hook, I might run into it. So that's why it's so important to have your hands up. If I go midway through the slip, I go, uh-oh, I'm about to get hit. I still need to be able to block. So as I'm punching, and then I go to slipping, and I think they're missing. Then I go back to punching, then I go to slipping, and I go, uh-oh, he's gonna hit me. So that's what you have to keep in mind as you get more advanced at this drilling. So you guys can try it out. Just try it out with me right now. If you have the space, you jump up, you do it in your normal shadow, and then I'm moving. And you guys get the idea. This is going to make a world of difference if you are struggling with executing slipping in sparring. Do not try and read every shot and try to evade it. Just create motion, create movement in between every punch. Now, obviously, you'll be on the outside quite often. Out here, it doesn't matter. But as soon as I jump in, then I go to movement. If somebody moves in on me, right away I go to movement. I throw my counter shots back to movement and recreate that distance. Whew. Getting out of breath, talking so fast and demonstrating the techniques. But anyway, guys, I think I covered everything there. Try out this drilling. It will make such a difference. When I box now, I can get my hands down and I can slip probably 50% of the shots. Whereas before, I would take like 99% of the shots off the guard and occasionally be like, oh, punch, and get the odd slip. Makes a world of difference. I know you guys will find it effective. You'll love it. Once you start trying it, maybe 2 or 3 rounds at 2 or 3 minutes of this a couple times a week, and you will start to notice the results. That's the number that I do. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the impromptu episode. If you did, give the video a like. If you haven't already, join the channel and get subscribed. Train hard, guys. See you back here soon for another video.